Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of FSI DFS Major League Baseball Breakdown. I'm Meg Ruler 31. We'll be breaking down the main slate for Thursday, May 13th. McKinley 412 did a great job breaking down the early slates. So if you're looking for information on that and it's not too late, before I believe it starts at 12:10 today, possibly, you can find that on our channel also. So stop watching this video, go watch that one, and then come right back and I'll give you the information for Maine. So we only have a 6-gamer. Doesn't look like there's any weather concerns. So I know you guys have liked the new format, but being 6 games, I'm just going to run through each game quick, and then at the end, I'll do a lineup breakdown because I've heard a lot of good feedback on that. So starting the first game at 7:10, it's the Yankees and the Devil Rays. They're not the Devil Rays anymore. They're just Tampa Bay Rays. Sorry, it's not 2000 anymore. James Tellison pitching for the Yankees. Kind of like him here as a contrarian option. I don't think he's going to be very popular just with some of the other pitchers on the slate. But with only 12 pitchers to pick from, I think he's definitely in play. He's got upside with some Ks against his Tampa Bay lineup. They always are alternating, it seems like left, right. So, it's like half the batters in the lineup are a great splits matchup, the other half are not. But it's a good ballpark for him. And he's starting to go a little bit longer. I was a little concerned early that he was only going like 3, 4, 5 innings. His last outing, he went 6.1. He's been decent, so I can definitely think he's playable. Rich Hill on the other side, really don't like him. I know he's been better lately, but the Yankees could throw out almost a completely right-handed lineup against him. I know he has the ballpark kind of in his favor, but like this whole Yankees lineup, top to bottom, has power and can hit home runs. So I think I'm going to stay away from him here. Yankees Bats, a couple of them are expensive. There might be some guys to look at if Frazier or gets into the lineup being a righty, as long as he's not batting ninth. If he moves up a little bit, Luke Voigt is back, but I mean, he's already up to 4.6 on DK. I think the pricing is a little bit better on FanDuel. Hicks has dropped down the lineup. You get a little discount there at 3.6. So nobody I'm really jumping to play here. If anything, like maybe stack them in a GPP, but not really looking anything too particular here. Tampa Bay, not really interested in their bats in this matchup. Next game is Oakland at the Red Sox. Has 9 totals, pretty much a pick-em matchup. Both pitchers are decent here. I don't know if I'd be playing either one of them. Don't really excite me. Like, they're good pitchers, but not for DFS purposes. Garrett Richards has been getting off some hard contact too. So I don't mind some of the Oakland bats here, especially the lefties. Left-handed batters like Seth Brown, I really like him if he's batting second again at 3-1. That seems like a really good price. Olsen 4.2 is not too unreasonable. Mitch Moreland at 3.4. Lowry, the switch hitter, and maybe you can throw some of the other right-handed bats in between if you want to go full stack here. Not a cash game lineup, I don't think, but if you want to mix the lefties in with another stack, I think that's fine. Boston, some of the righties, they have Chavis leading off at 2.6. I think that's a good price for him. Marlon Gonzalez has got up to like 3.8, so, and it looks like he might be dropping down a little bit in the order, so I'm not too excited there. But like Renfroe, he hits lefties really well at 2.9, Dahlback at 2.7, so might be a nice little wraparound stack here for Boston, pretty cheap. If it is Renfroe, Dahlback 8.9, and then Chavis at 1, you're looking at 2.9, 2.7, 2.6. And then maybe skip Verdugo and put JD Martinez there to clear the bases, hopefully, and maybe you'll catch some magic. Houston and Texas, 8.5 total. Houston is definitely the big favorite here. Fultonovich going for Texas. He's not bad. He just doesn't get too many strikeouts, and what really concerns me about him is he has the highest home run per fly ball ratio at 0.25 on the slate, so he's definitely gives up power. He's up against a team that's very patient, doesn't strike out much. So I think he's pretty risky to play. There's other guys in the 6K range I would like um, even more than him. Javier on the other side, I think is going to be very popular. Could be the top pitcher on the slate. He definitely will get some strikeouts against this Texas team, should get the win here. One thing that mildly concerns me is Texas does have some power, the lefties against the righty, and he's got a 51% fly ball rate. So uh, he definitely could see taking some Texas bats here. Calhoun, Lowe, Gallo, the lefties up top. Nice little 3-person stack there. Calhoun's only 3-4, Lowe 4, Gallo 4. They're cheap, so that would work if you're not playing Javier and want some leverage. Uh, any one of those could get the ball up in the air and hit a home run off of Javier. But I think Javier's okay as a pitcher. If you want to play him in cash, I don't struggle with that at all. For the Houston Bats, definitely, the power guys here, Alvarez and Tucker, and Brantley's lefty, but he's not really have a ton of power. Potentially, they're all good professional hitters. So Altuve, Brantley, Correa. I like kind of watch. He's day to day. I don't know if he'll be in the lineup or not. Maybe we'll see another lefty pop in or something if he doesn't. So we'll just keep our eyes out for that. It might be a good value play. So I'm okay with these Houston Bats, but I think with Coors Field that we're going to talk about next, I don't think they're going to be super popular. And I think, there's some pieces, as we just talked about, in the A's and Red Sox game that would be much better to look at. Okay, so let's talk about Coors Field. You have Luis Castillo, I've seen on some sites, and I see Wade Miley on other sites. So if it's Luis Castillo, I'm intrigued at 6.2. I know we're like at Coors Field, but he's a ground ball pitcher. I know he struggled with his pitch a little bit recently, but overall is a 56% ground ball pitcher against a Rockies team who's really seemed to be struggling this year, even at home. I don't mind that at 6.2. This guy used to be a 10K pitcher at some points. And what's the difference between him pitching in Coors and pitching in, as McKinley calls it, the Great American Small Park, where Cincinnati plays their home games? That's a field that gives up home runs also. So if Wade Miley's there, he's only 5'8", which is even more of a discount, $400. He's had a good season. He's just coming off that no-hitter. So I could definitely see playing him also. So I think definitely Cincinnati pitchers are in the mix here. Chichi Gonzalez on the other side, no way. Reds hitters, I really like them, and I think you could play anyone here. So the only thing is you can't play everyone here. So on DK, you only get 5 of them. FanDuel, you only get 4 of them. And in lineup breakdown section, after we go through all the games, I'll go through who my favorite 5 would be. But again, like I said, for cash games, you could probably mix any of them in. The Rockies side, I don't know. I don't think they're going to get dominated. I think they're okay to play. I'm not trying to get them into my lineup. Of course, Story's probably the best one. McMahon, maybe. He's slated about 5th in the projected lineups. Probably could move up with a lefty-righty matchup. But you got some really cheap ones. You got Connor Joe at mid-price, so I think, he might be a free square at Coors just to plug in there. Just professional hitter playing at Coors Field for minimum price. I think you could take that any day. Fuentes is only 2.3 if he cracks the lineup also. So down the bottom of the order, there's some really, really cheap guys. And Tapia up top still continues to be cheap at 3.9, and he has the split advantage. So I'm not trying to get Rockies in, but if I have space for my lineup, I think they'd make them a priority over some of the other cheaper bats out there. Next up is Trevor Rogers versus Miro Kelly. Miami at Arizona. It's been hot out there. They've had the roof open. So I think, the line right now I see is 8, but it could be higher than that. But maybe it is lower just because these pitchers are decent. Rogers definitely more than And Kelly, he's got a 31.3 K rate. It's the highest on the slate as for Rogers, but Arizona has one of the lowest strikeout rates in the last 14 days at home versus left-handed pitchers. So I don't know if his K rate is going to raise the average of the Arizona one, or Arizona's average is going to bring his down. I think he's a good play at 9.3. I think he's going to be very popular also here. So I think you might see a lot of pairings of Rogers and Javier, or the guy in the next game that's coming up, which I'll get to in a few seconds here. Miro Kelly on the other side, not too interested there. Miami has a mix and match lineups. You could see them throw quite a few lefties here against him, even though their lineup primarily usually has a lot of right-handed bats in it. So they tend to be cheap. So I could see playing from either side of here, but I'm not going to make a priority. I think, if you want to stack either side to be contrarian, I think Rogers is a good pitcher. So I don't think, Arizona is going to be super popular or the best plays out there. One intriguing guy is Andy Young. He's only 3-1. Especially if he moves up in the lineup with the righty advantage. I don't mind Ahmed either at 3K for a shortstop. Marlins bullpen isn't great. So, and again, if it's warm there and the ball's flying and the air's, a little bit thinner with the warmth, possibly take it. But I think, even though it's a small slate, I take pieces from this game if needed, not a priority to put them in my lineups. Final game we have at 10:10 is Zach Pleasek against Logan Gilberton, making his major league debut, Cleveland and Seattle. Pleasek is definitely my favorite pitcher. I really like him. He's got a 27.8 K rate for the season. I think if you look at the Seattle lineup, they have some lefties that can hit righties, but I think overall they're not great. And I think, Pleasek is having a decent season at 8.3. I think he's my favorite pitcher and where I'm going to start my cash lineups and then figure out, who I want as my SP2 with him. I can make a case for Logan Gilberton. He's only 4K. He's not an opener. We don't know how long he's going to go, but he's had over 100 innings in minor league baseball. He has a 10.9% K per nine, a 31.5% K rate. Again, they were minor league batters that he was up against, but that's not horrible. And Cleveland is actually in top 6 in K rate in the last 14 games with 27.5. They've been no hit twice. So yes, there's a lot of power and a lot of potential in this lineup, and potentially Cleveland could be a great GPP stack against this brand new rookie pitcher in a Seattle bullpen that isn't anything great anyways. But Logan Gilbert, and sometimes when these new pitchers come up, he's a top prospect in their organization. I think he's their top pitcher in their organization. The other prospects are batters. He ranks number 6 overall, but he's got a B+ rating I've seen in some places. So I'm really intrigued. And I think in some of my lineups, I'll play Gilbert and see what happens at 4K and hope that the no-hit Cleveland team shows up and that I believe, this is the first game. I don't know if I can't remember if Cleveland was out west or not recently, but if they just traveled out there too, maybe just in a time, things like that, maybe that's an advantage. But anyways, bats from the game, I can see definitely, Cleveland against him. I really don't like any of the Seattle bats against Pleasek. So let's check lineup breakdown. So as promised, if I am looking at the Reds, who do I want? I only get 5 of them. First guy in my lineup is definitely Castellanos. He's been one of the hottest hitters in baseball. I know he's 6K. I know he's one of the most expensive ones. So, but he's going to be the first one in. The second one I'm going to put in is going to be Winker. He has the splits advantage. He's been also really hot, 5.1K. So that takes up my 2 outfield spots. The next guy I'm going to put in is I am going to take Naquin. I know that takes up the complete outfield. I understand if you don't want to go that route and want to take one of the other guys, but Naquin has 8 home runs on the season. He has a split advantage. He is definitely one that I like there. So next guy in will be Senzettel. Not really a power hitter, only has 1 home run on the year, but he's hit well for average, can get on base. If these other guys do hit a home run, he's on base. That adds to your score. So you at least have 1, 2, 3 stacked in this lineup. And then the final guy I'm going to take is Moustakas, just because I like the flexibility of him being a first and a third base. I know Suarez is a good option, but if I look at the difference of them versus right-handed pitching this year so far, Moustakas only has a 10% K rate. Suarez has a 23.8, and all the other metrics really favor Moustakas over Suarez. I don't hate Suarez. If you like Suarez, you can by all means take Suarez. If you want to fill like third base or shortstop, there's good flexibility there. And I think Tucker Barnhart's going to be popular also, just being a catcher in Coors Field. He's 4-1, which isn't, there are more expensive catchers out there on this slate, but I think this is, how I want to really fill up my lineup. So if I take those 5 and I take Pleasek as my pitcher, or even if I go with Javier as like the most expensive pitcher, that gives me 2.633 left. Like I said, okay, let's go with Javier there. So 2.33 left. If I find a cheap catcher, I think I really have maybe 3 options looking at it for cheap catching. Maldonado, I think, makes probably the most sense at 2.9, but there are a couple guys projected to start at 2.7 in like Hedges and Heem for Texas. But if you're playing Javier, then that doesn't make sense to play the catcher against him, even though he's split here. But if it works for you, if it gets you where you need to go in the rest of your lineup, then if that's what you need to do. But I think Maldonado might be the play there. So right there, it leaves you 2,500 left for either first base, third base, or shortstop. You've got some good options at first base. Like I said, you have Joe at 2K right there. So in Coors Field, lock him in. If you think, okay, you know what, he really hasn't done much recently, so let's go with 2.6K Chavis leading off. I like that too. If you want to put Moose in at first base and then go with third base route, Andrew Young is there. Like I said, he's really cheap. Hopefully he bats higher than 8th, even though he's up against a good pitcher. At least he has a split advantage. Shortstop wise, there are some cheap guys also. Andrews, I'd kind of skip over. It's not 2015. I think he's at the downside of his career, but like I said, Ahmed at versus a lefty at 3K. Jimenez for Cleveland, possibly Rosario. He's a little bit more expensive, so you probably have to play a cheaper catcher and definitely go with Joe there. And then, with your SP2, you'd probably have to go down a little bit. I really like using like maybe Italian as your SP2 because that gives you like 36 to 38 K left. And if you do the same thing and take like Maldonado or a 2.7 catcher, if there's somebody else that comes up on the slate that's cheaper, and then you go with like Joe with the 2K there, that's going to open up like a shortstop where you can get up to Xander or Story or, some other higher priced guys. And if you go with my Gilbert pick and put him in at your SP2, in this build, I would probably eliminate one of the outfielders, probably Naquin, even though he's got the most home runs and the split advantage there. I drop him and put like Alvarez in, then you can maybe go pair him with Correa and then figure out if you want Moustakas at first or third base. And there's some good, I think you have like 4K left for an option there. So those are some of the builds. Like I said, like I think, Cincinnati in Coors with, 60, high 60s, low 70s, nicer weather is definitely the play. Pitcher wise, like Javier up top is a good play. My favorite one is going to be Pleasek. I think there'll be a lot of people on Trevor Rogers, but I'm okay playing Talon, and I'm okay playing whatever Cincinnati pitcher pitches. And I'm also okay if you're not playing Pleasek as your SP1, going Gilbert. Even if you are, if it's a GPP and that opens up what you need, then okay, go for it. I don't know that Gilbert's going to get the win. I'm just hoping at 4K that he goes up there and gets some innings in that are clean, maybe gets some K and makes values at 4K and just opens up more bats on the slate for me that are going to score a lot of runs. So that's our breakdown for today. And thanks for watching. Really have enjoyed the comments that you guys have been putting in the chat below. So, let us know what's going on, what's on your mind. We'll try to get back to you with some, help answer your questions, or we appreciate all your feedback. Give us a like, share with your friends. We're just trying to grow this and trying to continue to do this free for everybody to help you out. And, if you want to learn more about Fantasy Sports Insight, check our bio. There's a link to our website, get on our Discord. It's a great community. We've got a lot of free things there that we offer our members, plus some premium things that you can sign up to for a very, very reasonable rate. So as always, I'm MegaRuler31. Hit me up on Twitter or leave a comment below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.